We'll see. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with co-host J-Dash and JK47. We got some more Bucko talk for you this week. We've been light on the Bucko talk, so we got to get a little heavier on that, Dash. That's all on you, buddy.
Hey, I'm making segments every week, man.
I'm
I
not
don't
the
know what you're
Bucko
talking
master.
about. You want more Pirates baseball? I'll bring you more Pirates baseball.
I don't want more Pirates baseball, but the fans may like it.
But we're going to talk about some questions they have if and when they make the playoffs. Some questions that need to be answered. A lot of people are upset with Hurdle about some of the decisions he makes. And don't get me wrong, I have problems with some of the decisions he makes as well. But the Cardinals, they're sitting 4 games up right now on the Pirates, who are 90-60, while the Chicago Cubs are 88-62 this season. 6 games behind the Cardinals, just 2 games behind the Pirates, and just took 3 of 4 from the Pirates, as we know. But 47, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to put you in the shoes of Clint Hurdle. You need to make the decisions for this playoff run that they're going to make here coming soon. So my first question to you is, who is your third starter for the playoffs? Is it AJ Burnett already after a couple good starts here? Nothing great. I mean, they pulled him early in his second start. In his third start, he didn't last 6 innings, but he has pitched well in all 3 starts. This third start probably the worst of the 3, though. Or is it JHay, who has been dominating so far with the Pirates? He had a poor first start, but since then, he has dominated over his final 7 starts and has an ERA under 2 with the Pirates at this point. So which one are you putting in there for that third game?
I'm going with Hap in this situation.
I'm going to go with Hap.
Well, and here, and all due respect to AJ Burnett, you know, he's been great. He's been okay since he's come back. You know, you'd like to see him go a little bit deeper, but the thing that concerns you with AJ is his loss in velocity.
He was pitching over 90 mile per hour in these past couple starts, so I mean, it's not like his velocity is completely gone or anything. Before he got hurt, it was well under 90 mile per hour, and it seems to be up a little bit from that.
That too. I mean, there's durability concerns, and then also too, he hasn't pitched well in the playoffs.
And let's face it too, he has struggled versus St. Louis in his career, and if he is going to pitch, that means the Pirates have gone on from that wild card game and probably facing the St. Louis Cardinals at that point. So it would be versus the Cardinals as well. So I have no problem with JHay as your third starter, but would you go with a 4-man rotation then? Would you still pitch AJ Burnett, or would you stick with the 3-man rotation at that point?
Would depend on how my offense looked, to be honest with you. I've been swinging
so
the
you're
bats
saying
well.
If we're up 3-0 in a series, you would pitch them in that 4th game. But
yes.
What if you're down 2-1 in the series? Would you turn back to Garrett Cole to try to tie that series back up, or would you let it go to AJ Burnett?
Got to go with my ace.
Got to go with your ace. He's going to be pitching a lot of innings then this season. What's he at right now? 180-some innings? So he's going to pitch well over 200 innings.
I think, no, 194, I believe.
194 innings, that's what it is? Yeah. So, I mean, you don't want to pitch him too much. I wouldn't go with a strict 3-man rotation. I'd try to keep it at least a 4-man rotation with AJ Burnett in there. But if it comes down to a game where you have to win it, I'm going to turn back to the top of my rotation probably and pitch Garrett Cole.
Well, the thing is Garrett's the guy that's supposed to get us to that next level.
I agree, and I mean, he's pitched well enough down the stretch where I definitely want him pitching in this wild card game if that's what they end up having to play in. And then I'm going to pitch him as much as I have to in the playoffs. Anytime it comes down to a deciding game, if he didn't pitch the past 2 days or something, Garrett Cole's going to be my pitcher.
He's your ace, man. He's your stud. He's the only guy in that rotation that has that type of pedigree right now. Not that AJ might not have been able to do it, or Liriano back in the day, but it's Cole or nothing.
How about this, 47? Do you give Charlie Morton a start in any situation?
No.
Outside of injuries to the rotation, obviously. If you have no pitchers left, you're going to have to start him.
I'd let Cole throw left-handed.
But if you're up 3-0 in a series and you're trying to get some rest for you guys, would you even consider pitching him in a start? Or would you say, no, just go with your next guy up, just keep going with it?
Charlie Morton is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, are you going to trust that in the playoffs? That's the question. Even in a series where you're up 3-0, I mean, that's pretty much the only time you could do it, I would believe.
Morton does pitch well against the Cardinals. The thing is, too, he keeps the ball down. He's great. Nobody will be able to touch him.
And the Cardinals' offense isn't that great either. But I don't think we're going to be up 3-0 on the Cardinals in the series. In fact, if you win 3 games, isn't that the series? Isn't it only a 5-game series?
If we face them first, yeah. If we face them for the league championship series,
yeah, that's when you're going to face them. They're going to face probably the Cubs in the wild card, and then go straight to the St. Louis Cardinals. That's how it's going to work out, man.
That's why they got to get better against the division, which they did recently until they dropped a couple against the Cubs.
Losing 3 or 4 to the Cubs hurt.
It did hurt, but there is still a little bit of time left to try to take this division. You must sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, though. But how about this, 47? Would you pitch Charlie Morton out of the bullpen, or is if it's he's not starting, he's not pitching?
I always thought of Charlie Morton. I thought he actually could be a stud middle reliever. I mean,
I believe so too.
He's been known to get his fastball up to 94, 95 miles an hour. That with sinking action would be devastating in late innings.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if I want him in late innings. He's not really a high strikeout guy. I mean, I think Melanson isn't a high strikeout guy either, and he really works. So, I mean, you're right. It could work, but like you said, a good middle reliever, I think he'd be a great middle reliever, but he gets paid like a starter, so you can't have him as a middle reliever. But in the playoffs, would you do that, though? Would you keep him as an extra? Well, obviously, he's probably going to be on the 25-man roster, although I'm not 100% sure on that either. But would you keep him on the 25-man just to pitch him out of the bullpen?
Depends on how bad we needed a lefty. It's a matter of who you're going to take. Is it going to be Locke or is it going to be Morton?
Oh, I'd have to go with Morton, wouldn't you?
I would. I'm inclined to agree with you on that one.
I mean, they do have Joe Blanton. Now, Joe Blanton hasn't been pitching as well recently either. He got hit around his past couple outings or whatever, but I still trust Joe Blanton. In fact, he has the highest strikeout per 9 innings on the Pirates this season, though it is in just 27 innings, but he still looks very good to me. So I don't know if I'd keep Charlie Morton around for the bullpen or not. I mean, it would be nice to have the extra arm and someone you can somewhat trust rather than a Rodimus. If you go in extra innings, would you rather have Charlie Morton or Vance Worley or Rodimus Lees or Caminero?
I like Caminero. He's just prone to blow up sometimes.
Yeah, he is. That's why, I mean, you're swaying me towards Morton already, just because if you do go into a game where you have an extra inning game, you could pitch Charlie Morton from the 10th inning through inning 15 if you really had to.
Yeah, too bad he's going to lose in the first batter he throws to in the 10th.
Get out of here with that. All right, are you going to pull your starting pitchers early after any signs of trouble and go to your strength, which is their bullpen this season? Or are you going to let these starters pitch deep in the games like Garrett Cole? Are you going to let him pitch 8 innings and Liriano 8 innings? Well, Happ has been getting pulled somewhat early in his starts. He's really hasn't gone past the 7th inning or anything like that. But are you any sign of trouble, you're going to go to your bullpen?
Well, I mean, it would depend on pitch counts, on, you can just definitely tell by a pitcher's body language sometimes too, like if they've had it.
But you could also look at it as a way to save some innings here. Like I said, Cole's going to be well over 200 innings. Liriano's probably going to be up there in the innings, and he hasn't pitched this many innings in a long time. So you could actually save some innings by going to your bullpen early, which, I mean, Soria, Watson, Melanson, Hughes pitched well. Blanton's very good. So there's a lot of options in this bullpen. So that's another way to save innings as well. With Garrett Cole, at least, I'm going deep into games with him. I know he is up there in innings.
It's a double-edged sword. When you try to rest your starters, you start to borderline overwork your bullpen. When you try to rest your bullpen, you start to borderline overwork your starters. The Pirates' strength right now is definitely their bullpen. So, like you said, Dash, with Cole, I mean, you just kind of got to give him the ball and say, go get it, young blood. Because that's what Bumgarner did for the Giants last year. I mean, you've seen young pitchers just come in. Johnson and Schilling weren't that young, and they were both beasts. But a pitcher that gets hot, that has that type of caliber, play in him, can really just carry you right through a playoff series. As far as Charlie Morton goes, and all hating on him aside, if you absolutely had to use him, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I don't think I would start him under any circumstance.
Well, we know we're going to face Jake Arrieta in the playoffs if it comes down to that one game wild card with the Cubs. But let's say any game where it comes down to you have to win. What is your lineup? Let's say it's versus a righty. What is your lineup going to be?
It's a little easier without Gung.
Yeah. Polanco.
Are you putting Pedro
The
Alvarez?
outfield's a given.
Yeah, the outfield is a given. Are you playing Pedro Alvarez? Is that your guy, or are you worried about his defense like everybody else is?
It's basically Pedro or Ramirez at first.
Yeah, you could play Harrison at third. You could play Harrison at second, and if it was versus a lefty, obviously, you could sit Neil Walker and play Harrison. So there's still options here.
Yeah, just a little bit easier.
I mean,
to choose.
Cervelli, he's obviously locked in as
Yeah.
your catcher. But are you going Pedro Alvarez versus a righty? Or are you going Pedro Alvarez versus a lefty?
I want his bat in the lineup. I want the
I
power.
hear you.
I'll tell you what, and he hits against the Cardinals also. Not that in the one-game playoff against the Cubs it would matter, but I'm expecting to get through that one-game playoff.
Right. Well, are you starting Alvarez in
Yeah,
that one-game
absolutely.
playoff?
Against the right-handed pitcher, absolutely.
So you're putting Harrison on the bench is what you're saying. You're playing Ramirez at third, I'm guessing. Then you got Mercer and Walker at shortstop and second base, and then everything else rounds out like that.
Well, unfortunately, though, he's just the odd man out right now. I mean, of course, you have him. You as a pinch hitter, he can enter the game, play the outfield. So I mean,
Play
it's not
anywhere,
like
yeah.
so it's not like he's not gonna make some sort of an appearance in this game anyway.
What about versus a lefty? What if it came down to this is the final game and you're facing a lefty? Is it Pedro Alvarez and then Aramis on third? Just same lineup? You trying out the same lineup? You putting Aramis on first and Harrison on third base? Or you could even put Harrison at second base and sit Neil Walker, who hasn't hit lefties very well this season.
See, I would actually be inclined to sit Neil Walker, actually, start Harrison in that situation. However, I would keep the rest of the lineup the way it was.
Keep Pedro in there. I'm down with it. I love it.
We need that element in our lineup. You know, one swing of the bat could be a difference. Even if he strikes out a lot, it's brutal. But we need that. And especially in my opinion, we actually, even by sitting them, like, what really are we gaining?
So I did have a question here. Is Pedro Alvarez your everyday first baseman in the playoffs? It seems like you're saying yes. And definitely if we face the Cardinals, because we know he kills the Cardinals.
Hey, man, he's been here. He was here during the bad times. He was here now. Let him go out and get it.
Leading the team in home runs. I mean, he's killing the ball. And he's taking more walks again recently. He looks good at the plate. I know he makes errors, but really, I do not care about that. I said it again and again. I don't care about the errors. Who cares? I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. And he's not a good first baseman. I thought he was going to be better at this point than what he is. But the bat just plays too much. Everyone was so upset with his bat early in the season. I was never really down on it. I know his home runs have picked up since then. And really, if you played him all season long, he would be that 35 home run guy, I believe.
I agree. I think it's foolhardy to sit him. I mean, he obviously is going to need to take a break sometime or another.
Right.
But
Well, here, one last question for you. Do you still rest Cervelli every once in a while, or is Cervelli your guy in the playoffs from day one, and Stewart's just a bench bat at this point, and as long as Cervelli's healthy, he's playing?
Gotta play him. Is
I
he still
agree.
hitting over 300?
He's right below 300, I believe. 299, I think
You
it
just
is.
gotta play this dude. I'm not hating on Stewart in any way, shape, or form, but Cervelli's just been...
Well, and
Other than
Stewart,
Gung,
I mean,
Cervelli was like the biggest surprise for the Pirates this year.
I like Stewart's bat, but he has been overthrowing some fielders on stolen bases recently, too. He threw a ball in the center field. He threw a ball in the left field. So, I don't know. There's something wrong with his arm right now, it seems like. But I do like Stewart. But what do you think, Eric? Would you ride or die with Cervelli?
The only thing wrong with Cervelli is he's allowed the most steals in the NL. He might be baseball, but the Pirates just don't really seem to care. They don't really care.
That
people
has a
are
lot
running
to
on
do
him.
with the pitching staff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But, yeah, they just they've decided to live with it because his bat plays so well.
well, if we're up 3-0 and he wants to sit a game, take a day off.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially if Cole's pitching, too. Because you know Stewart and Cole work well together. So if you're up 3-0 in a series and Cole's pitching, it would be great to give Cervelli a rest on that day, I believe. Everyone agrees? Besides Jim never agrees with me.
It's just more fun to disagree.
Sometimes it is.
Nick Trail, let us know your answers to these questions as well. I want to thank you for leaving comments all season on these YouTube
Loves
videos.
baseball.
I love it.
At least somebody in my family likes your baseball.
Please believe.
Is that all we got for the fans today?
Yeah.
Bucko Baseball wrapping it up. Thank you guys for listening, fans. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube and click and subscribe. Everybody have a Jolly Rancher day.